Good morning, everybody. It's your boy MarkN, MUFC fan, and you know what it is, guys. It's the morning news, Manchester United views with the daily update. How are you doing? I hope you're well. There's a lot to go on, lots of things to talk about. There's a lot to be done. Manchester United has a long summer ahead of them. They need to get things done early, quick, fast, and we need to be prepared. Guys, what are your thoughts? Let me know what you're thinking. It's going to be a tough task. There's two more games left. We face Newcastle tomorrow on Wednesday evening, and it's going to be a tough game. I'm coming back later on this evening with the match preview, guys. Be there for that because I'm going to have a few of my friends over on the channel giving their opinions as we debate this fixture. It's going to be a tough battle for Manchester United. It's also at home. We've seen a good performance this Sunday at home against our Arsenal. In my opinion, I think the game was only disappointed by the goal that we let in. We played well. I think for moments in the game we were dominant. We controlled the play for a lot of the time. We had majority of possession for the entire game, from 51% to as much as 65%, ending the game with 53% possession. We had more progressive passes, more passes accuracy. It was very good for the fans who want to see possession-based football and Man United play football. The problem for me is that we were lacking clinicality. We could not put the ball in the back of the net. And the sloppy mistake that, we have seen lots of these sloppy mistakes throughout the course of the season and conceded from them. We were punished. Some people would say that Arsenal never got out of first gear. And I think that's disingenuous to say, because in my honest opinion, I feel like the way we tactically set up and employed our tactics, the way the players' effort and the way they accurately executed the tactics, we kept Arsenal from playing their football. We kept Arsenal from doing their best, and they were unable to get into stride as they were with other teams. If you look at the game against Manchester City, both home and away with Arsenal, it was a game that was hard to watch. A lot of canceling out of each other and not really entertaining. Arsenal was the team with more shots on more shots on goal, more shots on target, more possession, more everything. On the flip side, in the Man United game, Man United versus Arsenal on Sunday, we were that team. We were the team with all to play for. We were all the possession, all the shot, most shots, and it's just one of those things where the guys need to be finishing better. These are young players in attack. We have a leader who's supposed to be the senior in the attack, leading the line. He has not had a good season. And I'm talking about Marcus Rashford. We expect more from him. He's a very talented player, all the proper mechanics to be a top footballer, but he needs to be more decisive in his execution. He needs to apply himself a little bit more, I think. But sometimes players have bad seasons. Look at Anthony, he's having a bad season. Last season he didn't pull up any trees. It's tough. Look at Jadon Sancho. He played 43 games under Eric Ten Hag. He has most of his goals and assists under Eric Ten Hag, but he has not been having a good season this season, and he left early, and now he's having a decent run going in and playing in the UCL final with Dortmund possibly. Because if United doesn't sell him and they recall him before the final, then he won't be playing. So it's one of those things where you have to consider these things. At the same time, we've seen lots of problems with the partnerships at the back. We have not really had a consistent pairing, and that has accrued and, caused us some issues this season. There's, a lot to be said about Andre Onana. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. He has some amazing games, and then he has some howlers. And it's his first season, so let's not, I was super upset with him. And for me, I was thinking, maybe it's too much for him walking into this team, but at the same time, it's his first season, so I have to keep the same energy as I kept with Anthony and other players that people think I'm a fan favorite of. So I'm going to say, you know what, give Onana time. He's made some mistakes, give him some time to correct that. Some people like me think his positioning could be worked on. He needs to be a little bit more confident in getting to balls, getting to feet, controlling his area. And I think he will work on that in the summer. So let's hope for the best from him. But guys, we could be finishing in the top six. We could finish sixth, we could finish seventh, and we could finish eighth. And for me, it's a disappointing situation because I was always pegging us to stay in the top six, possibly even clinch top four or finish fifth. But it just hasn't happened in the last few weeks. We've had a string of draws and two losses, and it's wow. How does it change? The funny thing is, you look at the situation with the team and then you look at the reports recently after the game. I've spoken about it many times, being a match going fan. And that the rain and the floods that came in Old Trafford Stadium that everyone saw across social media yesterday and the day before, on those who were there to experience it, this is something that's been in the making for years. Old Trafford has not received the love and care and maintenance that it should have. And it's very similar to the way this team has been treated over the last years. It's a culmination of all the bad decisions we've made, all the mistakes we've made, all the players who we've kept on too long. And it's culminated after a decade into what we have seen this season. And it's hard, it's hurting the heart of fans everywhere across the world, whether you're from London, China, Australia, the Caribbean like me, or you're living somewhere in the USA, across all time zones. As Man United fan with the largest fan base in the world, somewhere in the region of 500 million fans worldwide, it's tough. And as positive and optimistic as I am, it's still difficult to wake up every day and after, your team is not performing well, but and yes, there are other things in life, but it's good to know that when you support your team that they're doing well. At the same time, I look at this season pretty much maybe in a different perspective to a lot of other fans. I look at it as a rebuild season where the rebuild actually was beginning, in the sense that we started implementing a new system this season. And sure, there were lots of moments where it did not work, but there were also moments where you've seen it could work. And I attribute that, as I will always do. Like, I would blame the manager 20% for the attack not working, but then I would blame the attackers 80% for the players, for the goals that we don't score, because these players are the one to execute. These players are the ones on the field that are doing the actions. You know what I mean? And yes, the manager sets them up a certain way and gives and coaches them in a certain way. But at the same time, this is where, the human factor comes in, and the players supposed to be like, yeah, we can follow the manager's instructions and expand on it in our very own way, in the sense that, we could, with our personal influence, a little extra effort and determination, we could make this better, thereby adapting through games, evolving to other teams while staying true to the definition of the instructions of the manager. And it's one of those things where I hear some people say maybe the players don't like playing for the manager. And this is one of the things where I'll have to disagree with them, because I feel like, there's a saying in football, or a saying in sports: a coach for a day, a father for a lifetime. And that begets a certain level of respect. And I would speak for myself when I say this. I don't know about other fans, but if you go into a workplace and you have a manager or a boss, it's one of those things where it's not really ethical or to disrespect that person. You know what I mean? You can sit them down and have an intellectual discourse and share your disagreements and your views and have them reply to you. And this is how, society should work. It should not be, I'm going to disrespect you so you respect me. And yeah, in one, I agree with you totally on this, Stephanie Griffith. Two inverted wingers doesn't work. One needs to supply, and the other one, then can do his thing, and maybe that will work. And we haven't really seen much of that, you know. And yes, that biblical weather, hopefully it's a good sign. The water washing down the stadium, maybe a sense of a cleansing, getting, washing out the bad as it prepares, this summer to exit and expunge, the bad eggs, the toxicity from the club. Hopefully that was what that flooding signified, a cleansing of Old Trafford holistically, not just the squad, but in the entire ethos of the club. We need to improve. And as a fan base, we need to stick together, because at the end of the day, we all might have different opinions, but we all want Manchester United to win and to succeed and to be the best team in the world once again. And, a lot of people might disagree, but at the same time, we can always disagree, guys. We are always going to have some slightly different views. The way we all look at football aren't generally going to be identically the same. There are going to be different things that we hold as important values, and what we think is necessary and what we don't think is necessary. And that's okay, guys. That's certainly okay. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's why we love football. It's why we call it the beautiful game. There's so many different ways to express, to play, to strategically attack, to defend, formations. There's so many different types of players and so many different ways that you see the game, and most important players in the team. Some people will say that the defenders are the most important part of the team. Some people are the attackers. And for some people, it's the midfield. And for others, it might be the goalkeeper. At the same time, guys, it's all well and good. But I'm rambling on with the intro, and let me just start the stream. I'm going to bring to you two reports today, guys. And one of those reports are going to say why Manchester United ditched their award night. And then we're going to talk about in depth and hear what's the decision made about the leaky roof, guys. Big up to all of you joining. Don't forget to smash a like and subscribe. Those of you on X, make sure you give a retweet, please, and thank you so very much. It's going to help the channel grow. I'm on 180 likes at subscribers at the moment. I'm really trying to get to 200 and hopefully get to 300 eventually. Please help me out, guys. Help the community grow. Thank you so much. And guys, while I've been rambling, yeah, Stephanie, fans are divided on who to support Sunday versus Arsenal to stop City winning the PL. What is going on? United not divided. 100%, Steffi. Let me just bring this article to the fore so you guys could get the bit of information, and let's find out what's happening with that leaky roof that was all over social media, right? Manchester United will not fix Old Trafford's infamous leaky roof until a decision has been made on whether there will be a full stadium rebuild. Dubbed the theatre of streams on social media, the world got yet another up-close and personal look at the decay on full show at United's famous old stadium during the side's 0-1 loss to Arsenal on Sunday afternoon. As the final moments of another disappointing performance approached, thunder and heavy rain descended from the Manchester sky. Even after an image befitted a football club, the world's cameras caught water racing off the Old Trafford roof at the southwest corner of the ground. The Mirror reported that United have no plans to act until a decision is made on whether Sir Jim Ratcliffe will get his dream of building a new stadium, Wembley of the North, to be built adjacent to the current Old Trafford Stadium. It's in an embarrassing day on and off the pitch. Several areas, including players in the tunnel, away from the away dressing rooms and the seated areas, all succumbed to flooding. United commented that the waterfall-like flood in the southwest corner was caused by a high volume of water entering the siphonic roof drainage system so rapidly it caused the overflow. Despite that, the club has acknowledged that there are sporadic leaks in the Old Trafford roof due to holes from wear and tear, which became a major issue during periods of heavy rainfall like Sunday. The outlet reports that the Red Devils have looked into the feasibility of a new roof, but it would be an expensive undertaking, especially if it's eventually decided that a new stadium will be built. A task force to discuss the possibility of building a new stadium was set up in March and held its first meeting in April. It was chaired by Lord Sebastian Coe and other members, including Andy Burnham, Mayor of Greater Manchester, Sarah Todd, Chief Executive of Trafford Council, and Gary Neville, former captain of Manchester United. The options on the table are knocking down Old Trafford and building a new state-of-the-art stadium on the same site, a project which could cost as much as $3 billion. Another option is to refurbish Old Trafford, which would not be as costly as raising the stadium to the ground or take as long as building a completely new arena. Revamping Old Trafford has been estimated to cost around $1 billion, but Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who's leading the task force, understood to prefer building a brand new stadium. Whilst United fans will certainly be excited about the prospect of a new stadium, it's worrying that the club seems unwilling to spend again on something which seems so basic. It seems fans have seen this type of inaction before. A decision on the new stadium could be months away, certainly years away from completion. Therefore, it hardly sends out a positive message that the new owners are not prepared to shell out to fix such a clear problem in the present. Guys, what are your thoughts on that? Get in the comments. Let me know what you are thinking. I don't know what to say about that. Maybe this is the biggest miss that we've had since we were unable to get Qatar, because as we know, Qatar would have came in and they probably would have already started construction on a new stadium and already made the decision that we're going to do what we're going to do, because you know what, I just think they had the bankroll to deal the business. At the same time, I'm going to say to fans, although I wasn't pro Sir Jim Ratcliffe, it was only because I wanted a full sale. The Glazers are still here with his minority ownership, and that is part of the rot of the club, in my opinion, because their input in the club has all but been almost negligible in terms of positivity, maintenance, and upgrading what they have bought since they've bought it 18 years ago. And guys, it's difficult, and it's going to be difficult for some fans, but never forget, Glazers out. Love Man United all the time. You know what I mean? And the same thing, it goes. We need to see what Sir Jim is doing. We know he takes over footballing operations to begin in his tenure as part ownership, minority share owner. And we have seen him appoint a few very good, possible decisions with in terms of Omar Barada, and as well as you've seen the likes of Jason Wilcox coming in, and we're after Dan Ashworth. So it's you can say they're positives. You cannot disagree that he's doing things and improving on what we've had before. And that is the thing where I'm thinking, let's give him some time. Let's have a little patience and see what he does, because we definitely upgraded some major parts of the executive board under his tenure, his very short tenure as co-owner. So maybe in the next few weeks, we're going to have some more confirmed reports on the decision. My feeling about the stadium is that we're probably going to have some reports saying that games are going to be at Wembley from the start of next season. But who knows? I could be over foresight seeing and overlooking some of the things. And at the same time, I'm gonna say this. I feel really sorry and disappointed for fans who have been legacy fans, season ticket holders, platinum season ticket holders, these guys with the names on their seat that have been there for ages. Since I've been a kid, they've been going to games week in, week out, home and away for the most part. The memories, the value, the history, man, it must be so disappointing to see that, guys. And I feel for them. And all I could say is my condolences to them and my heartfelt, as a fan, a hug, guy, because what up? It's these things happen, and of course we don't like these things to happen, and it should not be happening with a club of our size. We should have done a better job with the facilities that we've had over the last decade. We spent so much money on players. We could have spent half of that on keeping our club or facilities up to the standard. It was once one of the most state-of-the-art stadiums in world football, and now it's more iconic as one of the the oldest in a sense. It's disappointing, guys. You know what I mean? But big up to all of you joining. Surely we have enough millionaire ex players to help us fund a stadium upgrade if they really love United. Well, you never know, right, Steph? You could always hope for these things and hope that, there's going to be a silver lining, and, maybe there's going to be a proper decision made that's going to be more efficient, and, something that's going to meet the fans in the middle. Because as you know, they plan to build a new stadium adjacent to Old Trafford. The initial plan is to reduce Old Trafford to a single tier stadium that could seat 25 to 30,000 fans for the women's team and the youth teams to play in, and then have the grand stadium next to it, that it's going to be filled with an upgraded seated capacity. So let's hope that these decisions are made effectively and efficiently and very swiftly, guys, because you know what? It's been a long time coming and it's due. But I wanted to bring one more report to you guys, and the annual report, the annual awards night at Manchester United has been cancelled this season, and I'm going to bring you this information and explain to you why. And this is what the reports are saying right now. Manchester United scrapped seasonal awards ceremony amid challenges. Disappointment marks United season. Manchester United have once again made the decision to cancel their annual end of season award ceremony. This comes again as the team grapples with what could be their lowest finish in the history of the Premier League. Despite the looming FA Cup final against Manchester City, the mood within the camp remains subdued. Wow. The decision echoes past seasons. Familiar to the previous season under interim manager Ralph Rangnick, the ceremony, typically a fixture in May, calendar at Old Trafford, will not take place. The decision, initially scheduled for May 20th, was scrapped to maintain focus ahead of the FA Cup final, slated for May 25th. The Athletic highlights that this move is aimed at eliminating any potential distractions during this critical juncture. Awards to be distributed privately. Although the traditional public celebration is off the table, the players will still receive their accolades, including the prestigious Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year award. These will be presented in a more subdued, non-event format. Bright spots in a tough year. Despite the senior team's struggle, not all of the news from the club is disheartening. 23-24 saw Manchester United women's team clinch their first major trophy by winning the FA Cup. Furthermore, the under-18s dominated the under-18 Premier League in the North, secured a spot in the National Premier League final. Usually these achievements would be celebrated at the annual awards, but this year they will be acknowledged in a smaller, separate ceremonies. The women's academy sides have already conducted their celebrations for both the under-21s and the under-18 teams. This mixed bag of achievements and setbacks encapsulates a turbulent season for Manchester United as they strive to balance aspirations with reality on multiple fronts. Guys, what are your thoughts? Let me know what you're thinking. I know this is, the correct decision as you're thinking. I'm thinking the same thing. Focus on winning the FA Cup final before any backslapping award ceremonies, and 100%. You know, and while I do agree there are lots of honorable mentions for this season, I think Delo was one of the most consistent players. Kobe Mainu has been amazing week in, week out for his debut season. Willie Kwambala, how good was he against Arsenal when he came on the field? It gave me such hope for the defensive future, because now I feel like Willie Kwambala is giving the recruiters and Eric Ten Hag tough decisions to make, because the youngster, his form is showing that he's laying a claim or staking a claim to a starting position in the center back role in the first team for next season. If he can continue this form, who knows? We might be able to surprise the last two games. Get a couple points, solidify our position somewhere in 8th or 7th, maybe even scrape a 6th place, which I think is far beyond us now. To get 9 points would have taken us somewhere in the region of 63 points. But currently, right now, where we sit at max, we could get 60. It's difficult, guys. Difficult settings. You know what I mean? but we definitely need to focus on the FA Cup. That's our definite ticket to Europe this season. We need to come out in that game on the 25th, on the 26th, and fight and fight and fight and claw our way to the final and as victors. You know what I mean? Interesting if there will be a lap of honor from the players to fans on Wednesday night and a speech by Ten Hag. Maybe former, not the latter. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm wondering about that myself, Steph. You know, it's tough. This season was trying on the fans. And as we look at it all, you know what I mean? There are all sorts of reports coming out right now. You know, there's reports that Casemiro's agent has already held talks with Saudi clubs that are interested. There's also talks that Al Ittihad is very much interested in bringing in Bruno Fernandes. It's looking to be somewhere in the region of $130 million for him and Casemiro to go to the Saudi league. Is the Manchester United captain mulling over a Saudi switch? I won't know for sure. But if I have to look at what I've seen from Bruno, I would think that he's not at all ready to leave, European competition, because he definitely still wants to win a Premier League, in my opinion. And, this season has not been his best season, guys. He's been having a terrible season. He's had some bright sparks and bright moments, but it's been a difficult one. I think maybe he comes back next season all for the better. Maybe it might even be the case with Marcus Rashford. It might be the case with a lot of players. You never know. It might just be a really bad, unlucky season that we're having this season. And sure, Ten Hag has made some mistakes, guys. By no means he's without question for some of the games that we've lost or games that we should have won but drawed. You know what I mean? So, guys, it's one of those things where there's so many variables, you know, and with all the variables, if we remove them all and still say we should have done better, I think it's a little bit too much on the expectation side. And you might say that my standards are low, guys, but I actually think that, in a rebuild season, if we didn't have all those major injuries, I think we'd have at least be 10 to 15 points better than we are right now. And it's just where we are in reality. And pretty sure we should have, maybe we could have been a little bit more pragmatic and changed things. But would that have, set us back even more rather than help us move forward in the right direction? Because, we're trying to set a style of play, be it possession, attacking based football. And if we switch to and continue to be pragmatic, will the players ever learn the basics of the system they're actually supposed to play? Or will they just be able to just play whatever they have to play on the day? It's different, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. Bruno ain't going nowhere. Big up to you, Joe Blackman. And that's my thoughts as well. I think the captain is going to be here next season, but you know what I mean? The reports are coming in, and maybe I might be agreeable to this. If they offer 150 mil, I'll probably take it as well. We need all the money we can right now to improve our success in the transfer window. I think there's going to be a region of 180 to 220 million for purchase of players, and anything more than that will be down to sales and exits. Guys, I hope these lads are creative this summer, efficient, and I hope everything is done early. And maybe we might be just that, because there are some reports that are coming out and it looks pretty clear that might be in for a different type of summer this summer, guys. Because as you know, we need a striker. We need someone to pair with Holland to maybe actually give him competition or help him learn. You know what I mean? And one of these said options is Benjamin Sesko. We have known that Manchester United has been looking at him for the last 36 months, and his development has been going very well. He's been doing very well, but he has not been getting sufficient game time for his liking. So recently, he has been open to a move, and to the Premier League, almost any star would want to come here. And his agent was spotted at Old Trafford in the game versus Arsenal, taking pictures and showing off. Is this a clue to one of our early signings in the summer? Could this deal have been struck or considered, negotiated and dealed and then they're just waiting for the opening of the transfer window to confirm and conduct the actual transaction? I don't know, but let's read this article and see what they has to say. The agent of RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko was in the stands at Old Trafford to watch Arsenal's 1-0 win over Manchester United. So it could be that, he was there to, maybe look at Arsenal or maybe look at Manchester United. Maybe both clubs are interested. Who knows? Both and 90 minutes understand both sides have serious interest in Sesko, whose 50 million euro, 42 million pound release clause makes him significantly a cheaper option this summer compared to the likes of Napoli's Victor Osimhen, Sporting CP's Victor Gyökeres, as well as the likes of Ivan Toney. Speculation of a potential move to either Arsenal or United was fueled on Sunday as agent Elvis Basanovic took to social media to confirm he was in attendance for the game between the two sides. The purpose of his visit is not clear. Sesko's agent has visited Old Trafford on a number of occasions over the past year, also revealed he was present at Stamford Bridge to watch fellow suitors Chelsea take on United back in April. Sesko has plenty of suitors, these are reports coming in from Germany. Christian Falk. The striker has long been seen as one of Europe's most exciting young talents, as has continued to boost his momentum with outrageous run of form in 2024. After struggling for minutes in the first half of the season, Sesko has racked up 10 goals in his last 15 Bundesliga games and has added a further 2 assists. Sources indicate that the 20-year-old Sesko is open to a new challenge this summer and may have no shortage of interest with both Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, known to have expressed interest in the striker's services. His contract comes with a 50 million euro release clause, but 90 Minutes understands Leipzig are open to a deal which could be paid in installments rather than upfront payment that comes with typical release clause. The German side reached such an agreement with the sale of Christopher Nkunku to Chelsea. Guys, what are your thoughts and comments? Would you take Benjamin Sesko? Do you think he's going to make a good fit at Manchester United? Big up to you for the likes, guys. Smash them, keep them coming in. Stephanie, just like Joe, I am echoing the same sentiment. We need to get at least 10 players out this summer. And like Joe is saying, THDL in the building. The Ten Hag Defense League. We're going to be here, guys. And I know some of you might be mad at me because I'm Ten Hag Defense League. But at the same time, this is my views. I'm going to keep my views holding firm and stand strong on them because I think that Ten Hag is going to cook under a proper structure with the right people in charge. We've seen him do it at Ajax, and we can say it's a different league. But the guys who are in charge at Manchester United now coming in, like Jason Wilcox, Omar Barala, they have had success in the Premier League. So I think that they will be the deciding factor on his success at Old Trafford. So if he gets one more season, which I think is very likely, and I don't know if much fans know, when he signed his 3-year contract at United, he also had an option which the club could trigger for a 1-year extension, making it 4 years at the club. So maybe, you never know, he might do so well this season, it might trigger that option. You never know what could happen, guys. Football, it's not always linear. Sometimes it's up and down and it goes around. But you know what? You can see it, right? There are some moments where you can see the brilliance. There's some moments where we can be better. And for the most part, we have been poor. But you know what? It's been a bad season. It's been a bad season. You know what I mean? It's also been a rebuild season, guys. So I'm just going to say that right here. Keep that energy there. And guys, big up to all of you joining me. Thank you so much for being here. I was just going to bring you this little bits of information. Yeah, trigger for Sesko, 43 million, Stephanie. You know what I mean? That's like half of what we paid for Rasmus. And I think with him coming in, I think, we would like to have an experienced striker, but at the same time, you know what I mean? It could be said that competition at the same age might also bring exponential, improvement in both of those strikers because they would both be competing for a starting role, and you know what? Might be a good way to go. It might not be conventional, but it might work. Big up to you, Manu Tata, coming in. Will you quit YouTube if ETH fails despite after all backing support and he gets? Come on, give me your word. Well, if ETH gets the support that he should in the summer and he's backed here for the next season and he does not succeed, maybe. I could probably think that. Let's see how the summers go. Or if you want Manu Tata, give me at least until the transfer window, and then I could make that statement. Because you know what, I'm anxious. I'm a bit really, how to say it. You know what I mean? I'm really anxious about what we're gonna do in the summer. I'm not too sure. I'm hoping that we are creative and we get the business done very early, and maybe then I will be able to make a decision like that. Because at the same time, bro, I'm backing the manager, but at the same time, I love being a United fan and talking about Manchester United, man. Are you mad at me or something, bro? What did I do? Big up Stephanie Griffith, keeping the like count. Guys, don't forget to smash the likes. Don't forget to hit the retweet buttons. Help the channel grow. I know I'm waffling a lot this morning, but I'm just giving a little bit of my views off of the top of my head. I hope you guys, have a great day. I hope you guys, don't stress too much. You know what I mean? It was a bad season, but sometimes football and sports, it's like that. Sometimes you have in life, sometimes you have a good day and sometimes you have a bad day. And other times it's great. Smooth sailing, sunny skies, like the current summer weather coming in right now. So, you know what, guys? Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning or maybe later on this evening if I could get the guys about. I'm definitely having the match preview tonight at 6 p.m. UK time. If not, I'm going to have it at maybe 10 p.m. UK time tonight, guys. So if you're around, don't forget to come in, smash a like, join me, give me your opinions, leave it in the comments if you're in the non-line section. Let me know who you think should be Man United manager next season. Let me know what you think that the structure should be aiming to do. Let me know what kind of transfers you like. Because tomorrow morning on the morning show, I'm coming to you live with a scouting report. And I got a little bit of a finger on the pulse when it comes to the scouting, guys. There's a lot of young players in the lineup that are possibly coming to Manchester United, as well as some senior players coming through. Thank you, and big up to you, Stephanie Griffith, on the road to 200 subs, guys. Keep smashing those subscribe buttons. Help me get there today. I see there are 13 of you watching. If the 13 of you are subscribers or you are not subscribers, if you can smash that like and subscribe, it's definitely going to help me grow and help the channel get around. And yeah, Steph, I don't want to leave YouTube. I love talking about Manchester United, and it's super fun to hang out and talk with all of you guys, especially when you're all in the comments. And Stephanie, this youngster, I'm telling you now, he's going to be a game changer. And if he gets the chances, I think he's going to surprise a lot. He's a very hungry young striker. He's very, very energetic, very willing, eager to do his best. And, he has a very acute intelligence for the game. He makes a lot of very intelligent runs. He takes up good positioning. He usually is very, very, generous. He passes a lot and he knows when to take his chances. So I'm very excited to see his development going forward. And big up again to all of you joining us. Don't even forget there's youngsters as well who are going to be coming through this summer. Also the return of Alvaro Fernandez and Dan Gore Jr., who I'm telling you all, when you see Dan Gore Jr. next to Kobe Mainu next season, you guys are going to be eating like cheesecake. It's going to be nice to watch, quite tasty and delicious to see. Trust me on that, guys. The likes of Shea Lacey and other youngsters like Harry Amas, they're all going to be included in preseason training. And I would remind all of you, preseason this season is not like last season. There's not going to be two separate teams. There's going to be one team, and everyone there are going to be fighting for their chances or staking a claim to be in the squad for next season. Guys, big up to all of you joining. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you all have a great day. I will be back later with the match preview as we preview Manchester United at Old Trafford versus Newcastle, which will be taking place tomorrow night. Guys, have a great day. Glory, glory, Manchester United. Glazers out. Glazers out. Glazers out. Big up to everyone. Oh.